Listen, listen close. I will tell you something true. This is the story of Tuluk, the man who walked where no man should walk, the man who spoke to bears, the man who heard the dead whispering in the wind. The ice tried to swallow him, but the ice did not win. Not that time, but it came close. Closer than you can imagine. You want to know how a man survives the impossible? I will tell you. It began, as many things begin, with hunger. A caribou herd, spotted 3 days north, meat enough to feed the village through the dark months. 5 hunters set out under a sky so clear it seemed painted. Tuluk walked in the middle. He was 34 years old, strong, skilled. He had hunted since he could walk. His wife kissed his cheek at the edge of the village. His daughter, she was 7, waved from the doorway. He smiled at them. A warm smile. A father's smile. He did not know that smile would nearly be his last. The first day was good walking. The hunters made camp. They laughed. They told old stories. On the second day, the sky changed color. Purple, green, at the edges, the color of a bruise. End quote. The elders have a name for that sky. Konik Nok, the snow that swallows men. Tuluk saw it. His stomach turned cold, but the others kept walking. So he kept walking. That was his first mistake. It nearly killed him. 1 hour later, the world disappeared. Wind came screaming from nowhere. Snow so thick it was like walking through milk. Tuluk could not see his own hand held in front of his face. He called out. The wind ate his voice. He reached forward. His fingers found nothing. He stumbled, caught himself, reached again. Nothing. The hunters were gone. The trail was gone. The world was gone. Only white. Only wind. Only cold so deep it burned. Tuluk was alone. Now here is the first thing you must understand. 60 below zero. That is how cold it was. At 60 below, metal burns skin on contact. Spit freezes before it hits the ground. A man loses heat faster than his body can make it. 90 minutes. That is all you have. Then the shivering stops. That sounds good. It is not good. When the shivering stops, it means your body has given up. Then confusion. Then sleep. Then death. Tuluk had 90 minutes to live. But Tuluk had something. Something invisible. Something stronger than fire or steel. He had voices. The voices of the dead. His grandmother spoke first. She had been dead 11 years. Buried in the frozen ground. But her voice was clear as if she stood beside him. Dig, boy, dig now. The storm will blind you, but your hands can see. I taught you this. Now, use it. Tuluk dropped to his knees. He began to dig. His grandmother. She had been a hard woman, patient as stone. When Tuluk was a boy, she made him practice building snow shelters, over and over, in good weather, in bad weather, until his fingers cracked and bled, until he cried. Again, she would say, do it until your hands know. Your mind will fail in the cold. Only your hands remember. He had hated her then. He had cried. He had begged her to let him stop. She never did. Now, blind in the killing storm, he understood. Now he loved her more than he had ever loved anyone. His hands remembered. They found the hard snow. Windward, drift, dense, good for cutting. They cut blocks, stacked them in a spiral. Each block tilted inward at the angle his muscles knew too steep, and the dome collapses, too shallow, and the wind finds cracks. His ancestors had learned this angle. They learned it through centuries of dying. The ones who got it wrong froze. The ones who got it right lived and taught their children. The knowledge was paid for in blood, written in bone, and now it flowed through Tuluk's hands. The rules came to him, not as thoughts, as certainties. Never face the entrance to the wind. Carve the sleeping platform higher than the door. Heat rises. Cold sinks. Leave a hole at the top. Seal the shelter completely, and your own breath will fill it with poison. You will die sleeping. Tuluk followed every rule. His fingers had stopped hurting. That was very bad. That meant the cold was winning. 40 minutes. The shelter was done. He crawled inside. He sealed the entrance with a final block. Silence. Sudden. Complete. Sacred. The screaming wind became a distant moan. The world shrank to a small dome of packed snow. And Tuluk, inside, shivering, alive. For now. Outside, 62 below. Inside, 1 hour later, just below freezing. 40 degrees difference. His body heat alone. That difference was the width of a knife blade between life and death. But Tuluk could not sleep. His core was still dropping. Sleep now, and he might not wake. His uncle's voice came next. Dead 5 years. Feed the inner fire. Tense and release. Every muscle. Make your body a furnace. Tuluk obeyed. Legs, arms, stomach, back. Over and over. The hunters called this feeding the fire. He spoke aloud. His children's names. His wife's name. He reminded himself why living mattered. The elders said despair kills faster than cold. A man who wants to live burns brighter than a man who has surrendered. The storm screamed for 19 hours. Tuluk did not sleep. Tuluk did not die. But his ordeal was only beginning. Morning came. The storm had moved on. Tuluk broke through the entrance block and stood. Nothing. In every direction, nothing. White earth, white sky. No line between them. No landmarks. No tracks. No shadows. An endless white disk, stretching to infinity. A man with no training would panic here. He would run. He would choose a direction at random. He would walk in circles until exhaustion took him. Tuluk did not panic. He performed a ritual. He closed his eyes. He faced the wind. He inhaled slowly through his nose. His grandmother had taught him, each wind has a taste. Salt means open ocean. Dry, cold mineral means deep inland ice. A faint green smell, almost like grass, means distant tundra where life grows. He knelt. He touched the snow. The surface was carved into long parallel ridges. Sastrugi, snow shaped by wind. These ridges always run the same direction. They are compass needles made of ice. Tuluk stood. He knew south. Now, but south was 50 miles away. And he had no food. His body had already begun to eat itself. First the fat, then the muscle. Then if he did not find food, his heart would simply stop. He began to walk. Day 3, Tuluk reached the sea ice. His vision was starting to blur. His thoughts came slow, like wading through deep water. Without food, the body eats its own muscle. The brain, starved of fuel, makes bad decisions. And bad decisions on the ice mean death. He needed to hunt, but hunting in the Arctic is not what you think. It is not a chase. It is a ceremony, a negotiation between the living and the living. Tuluk walked onto the frozen sea, slowly, testing each step with his harpoon. Solid ice makes a deep thud. Thin ice rings hollow. Step on hollow ice and you fall through into black water. Black water kills in 3 minutes. He searched for hours, looking for something invisible. Then he found it, a breathing hole. Seals breathe air like we do. In winter, they keep tiny holes in the ice. The holes are almost invisible, a faint yellow stain, a slight dome of refrozen ice. Tuluk found one. He positioned himself. He raised his harpoon, and he waited. 1 hour. Nothing. 2 hours. His arms began to burn. 4 hours. His mind started to drift. 6 hours. He had not moved. Not his foot, not his hand, not even his breath. A seal can hear a man shift his weight through 3 feet of ice. One creak of boot on snow, and it chooses another hole. It might have a dozen holes. The hunter has only one. So Tuluk became ice. He became nothing. While he waited, he recited the old words in his mind. Words addressed to the seal. Words of respect. Promising to use every part. Promising to honor its sacrifice. The hunters believed seals chose to give themselves to worthy men. Was Tuluk worthy? He did not know. He could only wait and hope. The hours crawled. The cold gnawed. His muscles screamed. At the 6th hour, the water in the hole trembled. Now listen carefully. The seal would show its nose for perhaps 2 heartbeats. 2 heartbeats to strike. Miss. And it vanishes forever. Miss. And Tuluk dies on the ice. His wife waiting. His daughter growing up without knowing what happened to her father. The nose appeared. Tuluk did not think. Thinking is too slow. His uncle had made him practice that strike 10,000 times. His body remembered what his mind had forgotten. The harpoon plunged. He felt the head bite deep. Felt the toggle turn and anchor. The line snapped tight. He had the seal. Relief flooded through him. Joy. Gratitude. So deep, it felt like prayer. He pulled it onto the ice. He touched its nose with his mitten, the ancient gesture of thanks. He spoke the gratitude words. Then he opened its belly and drank the warm blood. This is not savagery. This is wisdom. The blood contains water, salt, warmth, everything a dying body needs. He ate the liver raw. Within an hour, his mind was clear. He was alive, but he was still far from home. And he was not alone out here. Something else walked the ice. Something that had already noticed him. Day 5, Tuluk walked south, reading snow with his hands. Watching ravens they fly toward food, toward villages, toward life. Then he stopped. In front of him, nothing. Open water. Black as oil. Steam rising into frozen air. A lead. A crack in the ice, 30 feet wide, stretching left and right to the horizon. The water was 28 degrees, warm enough to stay liquid, cold enough to kill in 4 minutes. Tuluk looked left. The crack went forever. He looked right. Forever. He could not go around. He could not wait. Leads widen fast. The ice he stood on could break free and drift to open sea. He had to cross, and there was only one way. The old hunters had a technique. Tuluk had seen it once as a boy. He had prayed he would never need it. Now he needed it. He found a flat slab of broken ice, tested it. It would hold his weight. Barely. He spread his parka across it, lay flat on his stomach, used his harpoon as a paddle. He pushed off into black water. Immediately, he knew he had made a terrible choice. The ice slab rocked. Water sloshed over. His sleeves soaked through instantly. The cold was savage. His hands started going numb in seconds. He paddled, desperate, efficient. Halfway across, the slab tilted. He felt it starting to roll. He shifted weight, held his breath. The slab steadied. He kept paddling. The crossing took 4 minutes. It felt like hours. When he reached the far side, he hauled himself onto solid ice, stripped his wet clothes, wrung them, put them back on. His grandmother's voice, "Wet clothes, freeze, and become your coffin. Move, do not stop. If you stop, you die." Tuluk moved. He did not stop for 3 hours, not until the clothes were dry against his skin. He had survived the water, but something worse was coming. Day 7, Tuluk found tracks, huge, each print the size of a dinner plate, fresh, the edges still sharp, not yet softened by wind. Polar bear. And the tracks led in the same direction he was walking. The same direction. For miles, the bear was following him. Listen now, this is important. Polar bears are not like other animals. They fear nothing. In their world, they are kings. Everything else is food. A hungry bear will follow a man for days, patient as death, waiting for the moment he stops, the moment he sleeps. Tuluk's harpoon could kill a seal. It could not stop 1,000 pounds of muscle and hunger. His only weapon now was knowledge. He changed his path. Bears hunt by smell. He walked crosswind, now his scent blowing sideways, not trailing behind like bait. He avoided rough ice where a bear could hide. That night, he did not build a shelter. He built a wall instead, low, all around him, not for warmth, for warning. A bear crossing the wall would make a sound. He lay in the center, harpoon ready, eyes open, in the darkness. Somewhere out there, the bear was circling. He could feel it. He did not sleep. Dawn came gray and cold. Tuluk stood. He scanned the horizon, and there it was, 200 yards away, standing on a pressure ridge, white fur against white sky, absolutely still, watching. Every instinct in Tuluk's body screamed, run. Running means death. Running triggers chase. A bear is faster. Instead, Tuluk made himself large. He raised his arms. He spread his parka wide. He spoke loud, steady the old words his grandfather had taught him. You are a great hunter. I am also a hunter. We do not need to fight today. Not threats. Acknowledgement. Two kings meeting on equal ground. The bear watched. Its black eyes did not blink. Minutes passed. An eternity of waiting. Tuluk's arms ached from holding them high. His voice grew hoarse, but he did not stop. He could not stop. Then finally it turned, slowly, and walked north, over the ridge. gone. Tuluk waited 1 full hour. Bears circle back. Only when he was certain did he continue south. He was close now. He could feel it. Home was near. Day 8. Tuluk saw smoke. A thin gray line rising beyond a ridge. The most beautiful thing he had ever seen. 50 miles of ice. 8 days of dying. No map, no compass, no technology. Nothing but the knowledge of the dead, and he had made it, against all odds. Against the storm, against the cold, against the black water and the white bear. He had won. He wanted to run. His body refused. 8 days had eaten everything. The last mile kills hunters who think they are safe. He walked, slow, steady, alive. The children saw him first. Their shouts brought the village running. His wife reached him, tears on her face. His children grabbed his legs, his coat, his hands. The elders came last. They had been performing the rituals, the calling back words, the old ceremonies to guide lost spirits home. Did those rituals help? Who can say? But Tuluk had heard his grandmother in the storm. He had felt his uncle guide the harpoon. The dead had walked with him across the ice. That night, there was a feast. Thanks to the seal, to the ice, to the ancestors. Tuluk sat in the warmth and watched his daughter play by the fire. Someday he would teach her the words, the rituals, the way to read the wind and stars and snow. He would teach her everything, every secret, every trick, every voice of the dead that had saved him. Because survival is not about one person. It never was. It never will be. It is about the chain. The dead give their knowledge to the living. The living carry it forward to the unborn. The chain must not break. 3 years later, the ice where Tuluk hunted that seal did not form until late January. 2 months late, the breathing holes were in different places. The sastrugi pointed new directions. The old signs were changing. The elders say the ice speaks differently now. It groans in new voices. It breaks where it should hold. The animals move north, following the cold. The hunting grounds shift. The old ways are tested. The old knowledge bends.